Good morning. I am Heather Kelly. I'm a business consultant with the Illinois Small Business Development Center at Rockford Chamber. We offer no-cost business guidance and advice to startup and existing small businesses and entrepreneurs in the areas of accounting, marketing, business planning, and IT. And so if you need help with your small business, we are here for you. Please find us on social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter, Rockford SBDC. So today, very happy to welcome Francisca Reyna back. Welcome. She is the Vice President of Business Development and Education with Blackhawk State Bank, and she's going to talk about financial fitness for rising entrepreneurs. And I'll hand it over to you, Francisca.
Thank you, Heather, for the invitation. This is a two-part session. We addressed the personal side on the first session, and this session we're going to address the business side. So with that in mind, thank you for being here, and we'll get started. So let me make sure. Okay, so we will do, this is the outline for today. I'll do a brief introduction of myself. We're going to talk about conceiving from conception of the business idea to putting your numbers together in terms of finances for your business. Hopefully, this will be a really good tool that will help you enhance and create a business plan. We'll also talk in detail when it comes to money, why does a business needs money, and how to put together your operating budget and your projections. I'm also going to share with you from a banker's perspective, what are the key advisors from some of the most successful businesses that we work with. Who do they have as a team, and how do they use advisors to continue to grow their business? Okay, and we'll also open it up for questions and answers. My name is Francisca Reyna. Again, my title is Vice President of Business Development and Education, and even though I have this huge title, really what I do is I'm a financial coach. People come to me for financial advice. I have 3 degrees. I have a degree in business management, international trade, and also theology. I have been with Blackhawk Bank for 20 years, so very involved in community banking. And I love to learn and teach as well. So hopefully I will pass on to you my 20 years of experience and some of the tips and things that I've seen that work for entrepreneurs. Okay, so let's move on. So what are the financial struggles of young entrepreneurs? What are the things that we typically hear? So sometimes we hear that they may already have debts that are actually sometimes hold them back from continuing to grow a business. They may have student loans, they may have miscellaneous debts, they may have credit issues or maybe low wages. Collateral is really important when you're starting a business. So it means, do you have an asset that you might be able to pledge as collateral for a loan for a business? And then some being maxed out on credit that has to do with debt ratios. That's typically what we hear. But what we know of, what really happens is that many times, these things can be fixable. We can work on improving credit. We can work on helping you to put numbers together. But the most important thing is that your business has goals. Okay, so having money goals for your business is really important. So as you prepare your business plan, it's really important that you set goals for yourself and what you aspire to do with this business, to be intentional and to stay focused. So with this in mind, we're going to go through how to set up goals for your business. Okay, so when you first are starting a business, so you may have a product, a service, or some kind of new invention. This is kind of step number 1. So as you begin to think about how to put together a business plan, you want to consider your talents, your experience. What do you know that you can use to be able to enhance your business. Aside from, choosing your business name and also choosing your legal structure. So legal structure has to do with taxes, how you're going to be incorporated. Are you going to be a partnership? Are you going to be a corporation, an S Corp, an LLC? These are decisions that you're going to have to make along the way, and also put together a sales and marketing strategy. So I'm sharing with you, these are all the components of your business plan, and the SBDC is an excellent resource. Why do we encourage people to put together a business plan? Where, if you're looking for financing, it's very important that you have a business plan. Most lenders are going to ask for your business plan and your numbers in order to consider you for a loan. So you're in a good place if you come to the SBDC. They do an awesome job. I've actually worked with the SBDC for 20 years, and I've referred many clients to them, and they've done a great job of helping our clients to put together their business plan, just to refine their ideas. And also they get a lot of support. So you're going to be able to create a business plan. Within your business plan, you need to come up with the description of your business and an operational budget and the cost. In this session, I'm going to emphasize mostly budget, how to come up with those numbers. You're also going to address a marketing plan for sales. SBDC has Heather and others to be able to help you and support you with your marketing plan, and come up with a pricing model. The most important thing, especially if you're looking for financing, will be to have your financial projections ready. And you also need to have an executive summary. So with that in mind, we're going to focus on how to think about putting together financial projections, especially if you're just now getting started. So calculating your price, calculating your profit is really important as you begin to establish your new business model. So why does a business need money? And I also want to remind those listening that not every business needs a loan. Some people are able to begin with their own funding, maybe savings that they already have. And so keep in mind that not every business is going to require to have a loan. But let's look at what are some of the costs, okay? Some of the typical costs that you will need to consider to include in your numbers. So keep in mind that there is no set cost to start a business, because every business is different. So they're going to require different type of funding. But some of the funding that is kind of similar in many cases, and it's important to estimate how much money you're going to need, especially before asking for money if you're going to look for funding. Okay, so one of the first things you would have to do is make sure that your business has the permits and license that are required. Depending on your region, you may need a special paperwork to register. And I know Rockford has an awesome program where you can go to the city. What's the name of it, Heather? Is it Rockford First? The name
Business
of the program?
First.
Oh, Business First. Yes. So where you can attend, and at a one-time stop, you're able to pitch your business idea, and then all the different authorities that issue permits will be there, and they're able to kind of hold your hand through the process. That's really nice about Rockford. Not all the cities have these resources, but if you're in the Rockford area, that's pretty awesome. The other thing you would want to consider is rent or office space. This is one of the biggest expenses you're probably going to have. So very important that you consider how much is your rent or your office space going to be. Utilities, are you going to have to pay utilities? And this kind of goes hand in hand with paying rent. Remember to include everything: gas, electric, internet, phone. And so these are things that you should be considering. Office furniture and supplies. Where is your office going to be located? Do you need to purchase some of these things? And if you do, you want to make sure that you include that in your startup cost. Association subscriptions and memberships. Are you going to be affiliated with trade magazines or subscriptions that are in your within your field of your industry? Maybe you would consider joining the chamber, or maybe you would consider subscribing to memberships that have to do with your industry. So consider those costs as well. The other thing that you want to be ready for is, as you begin your business, are you going to have employees? And do you need payroll? Who's going to prepare your payroll? And what is going to be the cost? You also need to be ready for taxes. So besides taxes for payroll, you may also have to pay income taxes yourself on the income that you're making from the business. So we highly recommend that you're working with a tax professional to make sure that you are taking advantage of every credit and deduction. Depending on your business, you may need to have inventory. So if you're selling a product, are you gonna have inventory on hand? What's the cost of that inventory? And you wanna make sure you have that in your operating budget. Another cost to consider, equipment. Depending on your business, again, do you need any type of equipment to operate? I mean, equipment could be from a machine to software. How are you going to run your business, and do you need anything that needs to be considered for your expenses? A huge one too is advertising, and you probably talked to Heather about this. So no matter how great your company is or your idea, if people don't know that you exist, they're not going to come to you. So having an online presence nowadays is super, super important. Most people will check you out online, or will check out your web page. They will look at the comments. This is how we do business now. So having an online presence is really important. And also set aside money for advertising. Legal and professional fees. Are you going to need an attorney to draft legal documents for you? You may or may not, but you are going to need to have an accountant. So make sure that we know how much that's going to cost, and we're contemplating that on your business expenses. Again, going back to the website, this is probably one of the most important ways to let people know who you are, what you do. And so when you are choosing your website to have an online presence, remember this is part of your sales strategy. Most companies use the website for selling. So consider the cost of the website. I know the SBDC can help you put together a basic website. That's part of their initial training that they do. So they'll get you up and running, and then you will have to then maintain it and get it going. So consider the cost of having your own domain, registration fees, any hosting fees, and you want to make sure that you have a professionally looking design. Are you also going to be shipping product? If you are going to be shipping product, make sure that you know the cost. Do you need packing supplies, insurance? And all of these things that we're talking about, whatever is applicable to you, to your business, you will need to include on your operating budget. The other thing is having an operating budget is very, very important. So you're gonna need to know your numbers, and also financial projections. And to be honest with you, this is where a lot of small businesses sometimes get stuck. They don't know how to put together those numbers. Just know that the Rockford SBDC is there to support you. They have the tools, and they have the knowledge and the expertise to actually hold your hand through this process. Now, putting a budget together for a business is similar to your personal budget. And we talked about this on the last session. So your personal budget is made out of two components. You have your income, your inflow, and then you have your expenses, what we call the outflow. So Similar, you're gonna have to do the same with your business. We need to know how much money comes into the business, how much money goes out of the business in order to complete your operating cycle. And we have to identify all of those expenses. The other thing I want to remind you or just reassure you of that you don't have to have an accounting degree. You don't have to be an expert in math. All you have to know is just be familiar with your numbers. This is very important because in my 20 years in banking, I sat with commercial lenders many times as they're interviewing with the client and they're going through the business plan. And sometimes people have a tendency of paying someone to create their business plan. And then when they sit down for an interview with the lender, they have no idea where the numbers came from. So that's probably the number one advice for you would be make sure that you are involved with knowing where the numbers came from. So in the event that you have to solicit funding, whether you have a private investor, whether you have a family member who's gonna fund you, whether you're gonna have a bank who's going to fund you, you must know where the numbers come from so you're able to explain them with confidence. So what we wanna do is we wanna identify what does it take for your business to complete an operating cycle. So from you're going to be able to produce a product, and then we're gonna send it to the client, and you're going to collect money. And once you collect money, we do this all over again. This is what we call our operating cycle. What does it take for you to go through an operating cycle? So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for what's the inflow of cash? How are the clients going to pay us? When the money comes in, what are we going to do with it? Are we going to order supplies? We're going to produce the product. And then once we complete this operating cycle, the money goes out also to be able to pay your employees, to be able to pay your suppliers, and then you're again turning the money again. So it's very important. A lot of bankers will really hone into your numbers in your operating cycle. They want to make sure that you have enough money to go around and around, because if you don't, you're going to come back again. So make sure that you know your numbers and what it takes for you to operate. Now, on another note, why is this important? Because you need to be able to somehow predict the future. That's why we call those projections. So you're gonna have to, if you complete 1 year, what do you think next year is gonna be like? And what do you think the following year is gonna be like? So you're gonna have to learn to be calculated. You also have to be patient. And I would say, not only be patient, but be wise about surrounding yourself with the right people that are going to help you grow your business. And again, being able to delay gratification. And so most people have these characteristics, and if we don't, we are able to learn them. So the other thing, and probably one of the most important things I talked about in my 20 years of being in banking, what I have seen with clients that are successful in running a business. Number one thing is they have a team of advisors. And the team of advisors consists of having a good banker, having a good accountant, having a good insurance agent, having a good attorney, and also industry expert. So I'll go in detail as to why having this team of advisors is very important. And as you are selecting your advisors, keep in mind that you want to work with someone that when you're meeting with them, every time you meet with them, you're learning something. We call it, they have the heart of a teacher. So they're actually not condescending, they're actually helping you throughout this process. So why banking services? Whomever you choose to work with, whether you choose a community bank or whether you choose a large national bank, what you want to make sure is that, first of all, that your relationship with the banker is something that you enjoy. And also your business checking account is going to be there at that institution for a long time. So you want to make sure that you have access to your banker and that you're comfortable talking to them. You may also need them for a business loan or some sort of credit if you need funding. Another service that you're going to need your bank for is for electronic payments. How are you going to pay your suppliers? No, the old way of issuing a check is old. Most people don't anymore, so we use electronic payment services. Another service that you will need from your bank may be using payroll services. And nowadays, at Blackhawk Bank and most financial institutions they offer payroll services through your business checking account at relative very, very inexpensive. So you can do direct deposit from your business checking into your employees. And that's a really nice added service. We also have at Blackhawk Bank a way that you can receive payments and then you can issue invoices using our service. So it really, I think with electronic technology, we have come a long ways that can help you simplify that process. The other thing is you want to make sure that your banker is your financial advisor, is your mentor throughout this journey. So they know your business, they understand your needs, and they're going to give you good advice to continue to grow it. So the electronic payments, also if you're going to be receiving payments via credit card. And so this is for the most part what you should be expecting or demanding from your relationship with a banker. The other thing is we're going to talk briefly about credit and why that is important. If you're looking for funding, most financial institutions are going to take a look at your credit to decide if they're going to lend you. And so the credit score is actually made out of something called a FICO score. It's a computer generated algorithm. And the score is anywhere from minimum 350, maximum 850. In this pie chart, I'll talk to you about what makes those points go up or down and how the algorithm is made, or what is the algorithm looking at. I would say if you're looking for a loan at a financial institution, if you're in the 650 or higher, chances are you will be able to get a loan. But if you're in the 650 or lower, we need to improve credit. And at Blackhawk Bank, we have a credit building product that we can help you do that if that's the case. In most cases, we're able to help clients to get their scores up within 6 months to a year. So we can assist you with that. So what the credit score is looking at how have we made our payments? Have we made all our payments on time? So all your payments from, let's say if you have a credit card, a car loan, a home loan, a student loan, all of these are reporting to the credit bureau. So we want to make sure that we're making all our payments on time. The things that report to the credit bureau that are technically no extensions of credits, but they do show up on your credit history is if we fail to make a payment on our medical comes up. If we have medical collections, it will bring down points. Utilities also report to the credit bureau. So if we fail to pay electricity or NICOR or some of the utility companies also report to the credit bureau. So we want to make sure we're on time, including rent. Some landlords report to the credit bureau. So we want to make sure we're staying on time with those payments. The other portion of that is how much of our current credit or lines of credit are we using? It does not like it if we're too close to the max. So the FICO score or the algorithm is designed to not like it when we're too close to being maxed out on credit cards or lines of credit. So our advice to you is let's take a look at those and make sure that we're bringing them down. At Blackhawk Bank, we might be able to help you to consolidate. So we're happy to take a look and see where you're at if you need to improve your credit. Again, we have options to do that. The other thing is length of credit. So how long have you had credit also has to do with getting up to the 850. New credit. Is it true that every time we apply for credit, our points go down? Yes, but you're able to recuperate them. What's most important is that if you're not really serious about buying something, don't go crazy applying for credit. But if you're in the 750, 850 range, a few inquiries is not gonna hurt. Where we recommend that if you're in this range, in the 650, so checking your credit too many times can maybe put you down on the 500. So again, at Blackhawk Bank, we have services to be able to help you to increase your credit. Type of credit in use is also important, and the algorithm is looking at that. So in here is looking at, do we have credit experience with 3 types of credit? So your real estate type loans, revolving, which are your credit cards, and then installment loans, which are your set number of payments, like a car loan. You take it out, you pay it, and it's done. You don't get to reuse it. So the FICO score is looking at all of these components, and the percentages is the weight on the score. That's how the score is developed. Just know that if you are looking for funding, this is one area that they will consider. In preparation for the loan or the funding, we usually recommend that, if you want to stop at Blackhawk Bank, if you need to take a look at your credit, we may be able to help you if you need to increase it or improve it in general. So now let's move into the next part. So another key advisor will be your accountant. So you will need to have an accountant, and if you can have someone to help you with bookkeeping, that would be ideal. Now, remember that as a business owner, you don't have to do everything. Most business owners have their own expertise. So lead with your strengths and what you know of, and strengths that you may not have. That's why you need a key advisor to support you in those areas. So bookkeeping is really important. Your accountant is also going to be able to help you figure out your cash flow and your operating budget. They should be able to help you put together those numbers. And they should be able to help you also with your financial projections and reports. It's a really good idea to have a good relationship with your accountant. Make sure that every time you meet them, you're learning something and that you're sharing. I can tell you that I've had clients that they put all the receipts in a shoebox and then they bring them to their accountant at the end of the year. Please do not do that. You want to make sure that you're staying on top of your numbers. If you're the owner of the business, you may want to look at them daily, especially as you're beginning your business. But once you're pretty comfortable with them, you should make an effort to meet with your accountant at least once a month to review your numbers, and also to make sure that you understand the reports that the accountant is generating for you, or put in a request to see what are the numbers you want to see on a regular basis. The other thing is payroll services. So if you're going to have employees, you're going to need to have a really good relationship with your accountant so they can help you facilitate those payroll services. The accountant should be able to prepare business taxes for you as well as your personal, and preferably if they are a CPA, and they can share their expertise with you and mentor you along the way as your business grows. So that's a key advisor. You will need to have templates to create your numbers, so do not fear. The SBDC has Excel templates that they can provide to help you create those numbers for your business, to tailor them to your business. One key advice that I can give you, and just being in banking for 20 years, a lot of new businesses fail because they fail to set aside taxes. So believe it or not, the reason why a lot of small businesses fail within the first couple of years is because they're not disciplined enough to set aside taxes. So as you're beginning your business, we highly recommend that you run everything through your business checking account or your savings for your business. Keep it separate from your personal finances. Do not commingle. Keep it, run everything through your business checking. And so this is a good rule of thumb. So let's say if you bring $100, let's say this represents $100 profit for the business. 1/4 of that, $25 should be set aside to pay for your taxes in your business checking account. The rest of the money you can choose to pay yourself, of course, it's very important, and you may use that money to bring it back to your business. But remember to keep at least 1/4 set aside for when you have to pay your taxes, because this is one of the #1 reasons a lot of businesses fail, is because not because they didn't have a good business idea, is because they forgot to set aside money for taxes. So after a couple of years, it'll catch up to you, and you don't want to have the IRS on your back. So make sure that you're disciplined from the beginning. The other key advisor that you also want to consider is having a good insurance agent. Depending on your business, you're going to need some type of insurance. So make sure you're building a relationship with your insurance agent. Again, this is the person that you're gonna need to use as a mentor to help you to continue to grow your business. Some of the type of business insurance, for example, just general liability insurance. If you own a building, commercial property insurance on your building. Some lenders, and I know this, we do at Black Hawk Bank. If we have a business owner that is the key person, should that business owner happen to pass away, what do we do? So some lenders will ask for key executive life insurance. So just know that they usually call it keyman life insurance. And the other one, professional liability insurance. Again, this may or may not apply to your business model, but you want to make sure that you are consulting and making sure that you know which type of insurance you need. If you're going to have employees, you probably will need workers' compensation insurance. And again, going back to choosing your insurance agent to be your mentor and guide you as you continue to grow your business. Another advisor, another key advisor that you may or may not need, again, would be an attorney. You will need to register your business, but the SBDC provides most of these services at no cost. So make sure that you're using them or you're tapping into resources that you can get. And you may need an attorney to draft legal documents. You may need them to draft articles of incorporation. But some of the basic things, SBDC is able to help. Again, you may need an attorney to help you draft contracts or through disputes for your business. If you have intellectual property, you may need an attorney to be able to register that. And again, you want to have an attorney that is teaching you, that will be willing to be your mentor throughout the journey with your business. Key advisor, also industry experts. Local resources, I cannot emphasize more. The SBDC, again, at Black Hawk Bank, we have enjoyed having a relationship with the SBDC and have made referrals for the last 20 years. SBDC has prepared many of our clients, and when they come to us, it's nice to see that they have a good business plan. They are confident with their numbers because they've been taught how to look at them and how to present them when they're ready for an interview with a lender. So highly, highly recommend that you have them as your advisor as you're growing your business. If you are in Wisconsin, and because we're in the state line, oftentimes I referred my clients from Illinois to SBDC, but I office at the Beloit downtown location. So I'm also in Wisconsin and I cover both territories, Wisconsin, Illinois. So if I have clients that are in the Wisconsin area, Wybec is a really nice, it's also a very nice resource. Oftentimes I will refer them there, but we also have an SBDC, which is the partner or the sister company, SBDC Rockford, SBDC Wisconsin, and SBDC Illinois. So This is also another consultant. They have Catherine Jackson and Jesus Nanez. These are two of the consultants that I work with them, and they're also very good resources, very similar to what the SBDC Rockford does. So make sure you're tapping into them as your key advisors that are going to help you grow your business. And also they're going to help you get access to data. Remember, this is a federal organization that can tap into data that you may need to be able to complete your business plan. And so they're able to identify the industries for you. And I highly recommend that you use them because they have access to data that, you know, unless you pay for that, you wouldn't be able to access it. I'm hoping that this information is useful. And as we say, an investment in knowledge pays the best interest. In a Black Hawk Bank, we're very, very interested in teaching our clients how to prepare to run their businesses. If you need to get in touch with us, if you go to our website, www.blackhawkbank.com, and you go to business bankers, you're going to get a whole list of who our business bankers are in each one of the locations. You also get a bio and you get their contact, so you can contact them directly, and then so you get to know who they are as a person, their expertise, what type of industries they work with. Again, as I mentioned, we finance many of the SBDC clients that they've had them ready. And so if you have any questions at this point, I will be happy to answer any questions you may have. Taking a look at the chat, I don't see any questions yet. Again, this is just a review to make sure that you know where you are and you know where you're going, and then the type of team you will have to assemble to help you to continue to grow your business and your idea. And we are here to support you along the way. Are there any questions from the group? Heather, you usually have questions.
I don't see any questions from the group. However, we have this going on Facebook Live, so we've had some fans coming in and out, so that's great. And we will also have this link up, and we get views all the time from our SBDC page. So this will be available for people that have signed up at any time to watch.
Yep.
And you can feel free to share it on Black Hawk Bank page, okay, if you'd like.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
All right.
I hope the information is useful.
Thank you, Francisca.
Thank you, Heather. I'm going to stop the share there.
All right. I'm going to pause this.